What is going on, Rivian fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you an overview of what to expect from Rivian for this upcoming week, what might cause a little bit more volatility, where things might be going, everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So based on Friday, it did close at 21.57. So the technicals aren't necessarily looking the best, which is exactly what I did say during my last video, which was on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I said that it was going to go up. So it was actually going to be trending up to around the $23 range, and it went to around $22.90 coincidentally the next day. But unfortunately, I do see it still trending down from here. So far, it's been following the technicals as predicted. And this has all been prompted largely because of after their Q2 earnings, a lot of analysts started to really look at Rivian, their multiple and various other things, and just see it being overvalued a little bit. So that basically is the only attributing factor why things are going down. But despite that though, you do see some bullishness. So I'm going to talk on everything. So starting off, when it comes down to next week, there's a couple of points that you need to watch for. One of which is on Tuesday. So economic points, of course. So retail sales is coming out. And I think that's one very big indicator that a lot of people have been watching for to kind of fail. So once again, it's been doing phenomenal. So even the forecast is showing to be 0.4%. So that's going to be very good. But once again, this is one of those ones that even Powell, everyone else, and their dog are watching for signs of cracking. So once again, this one's going to be a very hot one. And then on Wednesday is going to be the Fed meeting minutes. And generally that always causes a lot of volatility, especially kind of gives a glimpse on what people's mentality truly is. So of course, last meeting they did raise it 25 basis points, but who knows exactly what the consensus was behind the scenes and the closed doors. So once again, that is always a lot of volatility, but generally at the time of doing this video, there hasn't been any press releases or any SEC filings. So Rivian's just been, for the most part, following the broader market. And of course, just kind of factoring in what analysts have been recently saying in a lot of articles saying that Rivian's just overvalued. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts. And I kind of find it funny. This is why a lot of people don't like analysts, because a lot of analysts and articles, like I mentioned, are coming out. But yet when it comes down to it, there was an analyst that did give a rating on Friday, James Picario with Exane, and he did give a $30 price target, a buy rating. And he has a very good success rating, so 69%, which is very good in comparison to a lot of other analysts, such as 36 and, well, actually, yeah, 49. So I guess a lot of good analysts are technically in Rivian. But when it comes down to it, like I said, I do feel that big things might be coming for Rivian. Just the technicals aren't really pointing to it. But when it comes down to it, like I mentioned, no recent news. There was this that did come out where the CEO is talking on how Rivian is going to be joining the Tesla Alliance, kicking off 2024 all the way to 2030, and what that means for Rivian customers. But one thing on a side note, even them bringing this up, I do still once again feel that this is going to solidify Rivian's second spot and hopefully be able to take out Tesla eventually, because after 2030, this is where Rivian and a lot of the OEMs that are part of the Tesla Alliance are going to be forming their own kind of component and going to be competing against Tesla and that whole charging thing. So once again, I do feel that is a very good move for Rivian. So of course, like I said, when I'm talking on price predictions, that's just all short-term stuff. But even myself, I physically own Rivian. I do feel long-term they are going to kick ass. They're going to do amazing things, and especially with profitability right around the corner, probably tail end of 2024. Like, who is ever going to be upset with Rivian? So once again, it's all relative, talking on the technicals and the price point, but generally I do feel that the stats speak for themselves. People are going to be needing a lot of vehicles. A lot of the typical age of vehicles out on the road right now are extremely high. So a lot of people are going to be looking at vehicles, and Rivian is a go-to choice for that. So once again, that's just more on a side note. But when it comes down to options activity, like I said, a lot of bullishness is behind the scenes, and that is one of the data points. So $20 million in calls were purchased versus 5.59 million in puts. So based on this, people are anticipating for it to clearly trend up. And looking as far as this, so this is the grid view for calls, and based on this, it is anticipated to go between the $22 to $23 range going into next week. So So once again, like I always say though, these are just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price by any means. So once again, you kind of have those bullish data points. As far as big money, so the transactions or number of transactions that did occur on the secondary market wasn't necessarily there. You do clearly see some good transactions, but the frequency compared to previous days is just quiet. So once again, I think that a lot of analysts and also retail, because looking at the momentum indicator shows number of retail investors have been going down. So I think a lot of people are just listening to a lot of these articles and these analysts saying that Rivian is too high. So that's probably been one of the only attributing factors why it is going down, because they have had some fairly good earnings. Q2, clearly they were burning through a lot of cash. Once again, that's on people's minds right now as well. But generally, they have sufficient amount of demand well into 2024. So just make sure you guys do your own due diligence. One final thing I just wanted to bring up, or actually there's quite a lot more still to bring up, but one thing here on Interactive Brokers, the Morningstar report, which was recently updated mid last week, it does show the fair market value for Rivian being $35.25. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. If you are looking for a lot of good kind of compiled information such as analyst ratings, Morningstar reports, everything under the sun, take a look at Interactive Brokers. It is completely free to have, so sign up and yeah, you get a lot of good access to a lot of fun information. So once again, moving on from that though, so like I mentioned, as far as the transactions on the secondary market, these are all the ones that did occur on the dark pool. Dark pool is very much linked to shorting, so I'll give you guys a quick overview of that in a second, but the frequency on this has been blowing up. And it wasn't necessarily just based on Friday alone. There was the last several days on the dark pool was just crazy hot. So when it comes down to it, there's a lot of factors for that, because dark pool, if there was a buy or a sell that does occur, these do not move the stock price. So this is where a lot of people don't necessarily like the dark pool, because it clearly can have a lot of manipulative factors to it. So for instance, someone could cause damage and sell on the secondary market and buy, for instance, on the dark pool, and the stock price wouldn't really be affected by that buy. So once again, it's kind of flawed a little bit. But as far as what happened with shorts on Friday, they did return 429.41 thousand shares, 13.05% of the free float being shorted, 86.35 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow is just pennies at 0.74%, and there is clear signs of manipulation, with cost to borrow minimum being negative 0.2%, meaning that there is a broker out there physically paying people to short Rivian. So once again, you have that. And by analyzing this information, the fact that they did return some shares on a red day, which was Friday, kind of does go to show that they do see it as an overreaction. So like I said, you kind of have conflicting data right now. So you have shorts and also the options activity, thinking that there's going to be a rebound in the market, or I guess Rivian, but based on the technicals, you have it breaking down. So once again, you kind of have a little bit more of a seesaw effect there. But when it comes down to the technicals and where I see the next big resistance and support points being, so like I said, lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, there is that 50-day moving average around that 2050 range, and coincidentally that is exactly where I do see it going, at least in the short term. Especially I do feel that once it does bounce off of that, then a lot of people are going to be seeing this as a huge, just massive buy based on, like I said, the options activity and various other things. I feel like a lot of people are going to now see Rivian as a huge screaming buying opportunity. You're going to see a lot more analysts upping their targets and stuff like that. But based on this, it is currently between this S1 and the pivot. So 24.50 is that next big resistance, so very strong resistance, and $20.58 is that next strong support. So this is where I do feel might be the low potentially that is achieved, whether it be on Monday or potentially on Tuesday. So let me know you guys' thoughts on that in the comments below. But even if it doesn't, like I said, I still do believe in Rivian bigger picture. So this is just short-term predictions. If you do believe in what the EV market is going to be in, obviously by 2030 or even greater than that, take advantage of these discounted prices. A lot of people worry so much about the dollar, nickel and diming kind of stuff and trying to catch the bottom. But in reality, when Rivian goes back to maybe $150, $200 in maybe several years from now, people are not going to care whether you bought it at $21.50, $20.50, or $15. Like, people aren't necessarily going to care. So once again, just kind of be aware of that. So like I said, you kind of have conflicting stuff. Technicals pointing that it's going to be trending down, but a lot of the data points behind the scenes are all positive. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on all of this in the comments below. A couple of things to share with you. 𝗪𝗧 is finally heading to Canada. So I've been sharing a lot of amazing promos with you guys. A lot of people have been taking advantage of that, but unfortunately that's only been for Americans. But 𝗪𝗧 is finally heading to Canada, so they're doing a soft launch. All you have to do, just sign up, link in the description below and also the comments. Only need your phone number. You don't need any additional information whatsoever, so you can sign up and then you can enter for chances to win a lot of gift cards. So take advantage of that while you can. And for all of the Americans out there, that amazing promo is still on. So all you have to do, sign up for a free account, throw $100 at it, you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, and you also get a $50 cash reward. So this is one of the best deals that you can get. It's basically free money. Link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a ton of money on Rivian.